Once upon a moonless night, 4 friends set out on an adventurous road trip in their trusty old car. They were a close-knit group, always seeking thrill and excitement in every journey they embarked upon. This particular road trip was meant to be a memorable one, as they planned to explore remote areas and lesser-known destinations. As they ventured deeper into the winding roads of the countryside, the car's engine started to sputter ominously. Panic set in as they watched the gas gauge dip dangerously low, and it was clear that their beloved vehicle was failing them. In a stroke of luck, just as despair began to creep in, they spotted the silhouette of an old church standing against the darkened horizon. With no other choice, they coasted into the church's gravel parking lot, the eerie silence of the night engulfing them. The ancient building loomed before them, its stone facade illuminated only by the pale moonlight. The friends, tired and anxious, decided to seek refuge inside the church for the night. As they entered the dimly lit interior, they were struck by a sense of foreboding. Cobwebs hung in the corners, and the air was thick with the scent of age. Pews lined the nave, and an imposing crucifix hung over the altar at the front. It seemed that the church had not seen visitors in years. They made their makeshift beds on the cold, hard wooden pews, hoping that dawn would bring a solution to their car troubles. Exhausted from their ordeal, they gradually drifted into a fitful slumber. However, as the clock ticked past midnight, their dreams took a sinister turn. Each friend was tormented by nightmarish visions that seemed to blur the line between reality and the macabre. Shadows danced menacingly across the church's ancient walls, and eerie whispers filled the air. Ghostly apparitions roamed the pews, their mournful moans echoing through the hallowed space. One friend dreamt of being chased through a labyrinthine maze by shadowy figures, their skeletal fingers inches from his trembling form. Another found herself trapped in a never-ending corridor of mirrors, each reflection revealing a different grotesque version of herself. The third friend saw the crucifix above the altar contort into a monstrous, writhing mass, while the fourth was ensnared in a web of thorns, unable to move as it closed in around them. They awoke, one by one, bathed in cold sweat, their hearts pounding. As the first rays of dawn began to filter through the church's stained glass windows, they exchanged fearful glances, realizing that they had all shared the same terrifying nightmare. With the morning light, they decided it was time to leave the accursed church behind. Their car miraculously started without a hitch, as if it had never been broken in the first place. They sped away from the haunted place, their shared nightmare lingering in their minds. After this incident within a year, the first and third friend were met with an accident, and both dead cases are still unsolved as well as got the mysterious tag. The two friends who are still breathing but facing various nightmares. They believe that all the things were being started from that old church. Years later, they still shudder at the memory of that fateful night spent in the forsaken church. They could never be sure if it was the isolation, the darkness, or some other inexplicable force that had plagued their dreams, but they knew one thing for certain: they would never forget the horrors they had experienced on that nightmarish road trip.